You close your eyes at 10 p.m., just like always. You've brushed your teeth, turned off the light, maybe even said a quiet prayer. The room is quiet. The bed is familiar. But the moment your head hits the pillow, something changes. Your body says, sleep. But your mind doesn't get the message. You lie there, waiting. Minutes stretch out like hours. A memory drifts in, something small and old, like a face you haven't seen in years. Then a worry, then a regret. Then the numbers on the clock change again. 11:47, 12:12, 1:36. You tell yourself it's normal, just aging, just stress. You've been through worse. But night after night, this pattern continues, and slowly it chips away at you. Sleep becomes something you dread. The dark becomes less of a comfort and more of a waiting room, between exhaustion and the life you're too tired to fully live. If any of that feels familiar, I want you to know two things. First, you're not alone. Second, it doesn't have to stay this way. You might have heard about a 4-minute method that helps you fall asleep fast. Maybe it sounds like a gimmick. I get that. I've heard it all too. But tonight, I'm not here to promise miracles. I'm here to tell you something deeper, something human. Because what's really keeping you awake isn't just about your pillow or your melatonin levels. It's about something more intimate, how your body, your heart, and your nervous system have changed with time, and how, with the right approach, they can change again. I remember a night about 15 years ago. I was in my mid-50s. My wife had fallen asleep beside me, peaceful as ever. But I was wide awake. My body was still, but my mind racing. Every small sound seemed amplified. The ticking of the wall clock, the hum of the fridge down the hall. I replayed conversations from that day, arguments from years ago, even random memories I hadn't thought of in decades. It was like my brain had opened every file in the drawer and dumped them on my chest. That night, I didn't sleep more than 2 hours. And the next morning, I had to face patience, smile, listen, give advice. But I felt hollow, as if my tank had run dry. That's when I truly understood what so many of my patients had been telling me for years. Like Joe, a retired carpenter who once told me, "Doc, I wake up more tired than I went to bed, and it's been that way for years." Joe had strong hands, scarred from decades of real work, but when he talked about his sleep, he looked small, vulnerable even. He wasn't just tired, he was discouraged, because no one really talks about what sleep deprivation does to your sense of self. It makes you question your own body. It turns the night into a place of silent suffering. And the worst part is, it's invisible. For a long time, sleep issues in older adults were brushed off as normal, just part of getting older. But science and experience tell us something else. Sleep doesn't naturally vanish with age. What changes is how our body signals for sleep, and how we've been conditioned to ignore those signals. Let me explain something that might surprise you. As we age, our body undergoes subtle shifts in chemistry. Melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep, declines. But that's not all. The cortisol rhythm, which should naturally drop at night, sometimes gets disrupted. The very cycle that used to gently rock you to sleep starts to misfire. Imagine your body like a grandfather clock, still beautiful, still capable, but the gears don't spin the way they used to. They creak, they slip, they need tuning. Sleep becomes harder not because the clock is broken, but because it hasn't been rewound properly in years. Another factor, circulation. Good sleep requires your body temperature to drop slightly, which in turn depends on strong circulation, your body's ability to send blood where it's needed and pull it back efficiently. But if your vessels are stiffer, your heart less responsive, that cooling process takes longer. The signal to sleep gets delayed. And then there's the mind. Years of accumulated stress, grief, unspoken worries, they don't just disappear. They gather like dust under the floorboards. At night, when the distractions go quiet, they rise. That's why you may find yourself reliving the past, fixating on the future, or feeling strangely alert at the exact moment you're supposed to drift off. So what do we do about it? That brings me to the method. You may have heard whispers of it before. something developed by the military to help soldiers fall asleep under extreme stress. But what's most powerful about it isn't the technique itself. It's what it communicates to your nervous system. This method tells your body in a language it understands. You are safe. The battle is over. It's okay to let go now. And for men like Joe, and like me, on that sleepless night 15 years ago, that's the message we didn't realize we were starving for. Let's walk through it together gently. First, lie on your back, not stiffly, just comfortably, with your arms resting at your sides and your legs slightly apart. Let gravity hold you. Let the bed support you. You don't have to try to sleep. You only need to surrender to stillness. Now begin with the breath. Inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it at the top for 7. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Do this again and again. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal isn't control, it's release. With each breath, imagine you're sinking a little deeper into the mattress. Imagine the mattress isn't just fabric. It's warm sand, the kind that molds to you, supports you, accepts your weight without resistance. Now comes the body scan. Start with your forehead. Notice if you're furrowing it. Let it smooth. Move to your jaw. Is it clenched? Soften it. Let the tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Move down to your shoulders. They've been carrying so much. Let them fall back. Feel your arms, your hands, your chest, your stomach. One by one, release each muscle, not by forcing it, but by inviting it to rest. This isn't about forcing your way into sleep. That's what most of us get wrong. Sleep isn't something you grab. It's something you return to, like a boat drifting back to shore. And this practice, this simple method, helps guide you there. Finally, give your mind something soft to hold. Picture a wave of warm, dark color, whatever color feels calming to you, slowly washing over your body, from your head to your toes. With each breath, it travels further, pulling tension away as it goes. Or if you prefer, repeat a phrase silently in your mind. Something kind. Something true. I am safe. I am resting. I am letting go. Again and again, like a lullaby only your body can hear. You may not fall asleep the first night, or the second, but the method isn't just about the result. It's about teaching your body how to feel safe again, about building a bridge back to rest after years of wandering. And you don't need supplements, machines, or another overpriced pillow. You need rhythm, repetition, a willingness to meet your body where it is, not where it used to be. Some of my patients ask, is it really that simple? And I tell them, simple doesn't mean easy. But yes, this kind of stillness practice night after night can become a new path, one that leads to peace, not pressure. We've been told that aging means giving things up, energy, desire, sleep. But I don't believe that. I believe aging means learning how to listen differently, how to respond with grace, how to return to things we once took for granted, like sleep, with greater reverence and care. And the beauty of this method is it's available to you tonight. You don't have to wait until your life is less stressful or your health is perfect. You can begin exactly where you are, tired, maybe skeptical, but willing to try. Because the truth is, your body remembers. Somewhere inside you, the blueprint for rest still exists. This method just gives your body permission to follow it. And when that happens, when you finally feel the shift, the heaviness in your limbs, the soft pull toward unconsciousness, it doesn't feel like a trick. It feels like coming home. Let's pause here. We've only just begun to understand the deeper architecture of rest. And in the second half, I'll share the gentle changes you can make during the day that prepare your nights for better sleep. The small, nourishing habits that make your evenings a sanctuary, not a struggle. But for now, let this sink in. The breath, the release, the wave, the possibility that rest isn't gone, just waiting. There's something sacred about the quiet hours before sleep. The world softens, the pace slows, and for a brief window, we are closer to ourselves. But if your body isn't ready to receive that softness, if your nervous system is still echoing the noise of the day, then even the quiet can feel overwhelming. That's why falling asleep isn't just about what happens when you lay down. It begins long before your head touches the pillow. Think about how most of us move through our evenings. We carry the day with us, every frustration, every piece of unfinished business. We watch the news. We check the phone. We replay arguments, scroll through headlines, and all the while, our hearts beat a little faster. Our minds stay alert. Our breath stays shallow. Then, an hour later, we expect our bodies to simply shut off, like flipping a switch. But the human body doesn't work like that, especially not after 55. What it needs, what you need, is a gentle landing, not a crash. That's why I often tell my patients that good sleep is built during the 2 hours before bed. It doesn't have to be elaborate. In fact, the simpler the better. Start by dimming the lights in your home as the sun goes down. This isn't just ambiance. It sends a signal to your brain that daylight is ending, that it's time to shift gears. Light is information, and your body is always listening. Next, take a walk after dinner. Nothing intense, just 15 or 20 minutes. Let your feet move slowly. Let the air touch your skin. This walk isn't about exercise. It's about rhythm, syncing your breath, your heartbeat, and your environment in a way that brings you back to your body. The gentle movement helps regulate blood sugar, improves circulation, and sets the stage for a quieter nervous system by bedtime. Then, about an hour before bed, choose a ritual, something predictable, something your body can associate with rest. Maybe it's a cup of warm chamomile or golden milk. Maybe it's massaging a bit of magnesium lotion into your calves, or reading something that has no agenda, no drama, no news, just peace. And here's something I wish more people knew. Your body loves routine. Especially as you age, your cells begin to crave patterns. It's how they feel safe. When bedtime happens at the same time every night, even on weekends, your body learns to prepare. Sleep becomes expected, not forced. If you're someone who wakes up multiple times a night or can't fall back asleep, you're not failing. Your body is asking for consistency and calm, and you can give that to yourself. It starts with treating your evening hours as sacred time, not just a leftover part of the day, but the beginning of your restoration. You might be wondering, what about food? What about supplements? That's fair. There are certainly nutrients that support sleep: magnesium, tryptophan, B6, even small amounts of melatonin for some. But the truth is, no supplement can undo a body that feels unsafe. That's why these rituals matter more than pills. A handful of pumpkin seeds, a banana, or a bit of warm milk can certainly help, especially when paired with peace. But they're not magic. You are the magic when your body is cared for and your mind is held gently. And now I want to shift gears for a moment, because I know that for many of you, this isn't just about sleep. It's about trust. Trusting your body again. Trusting that rest is possible. Trusting that you are still capable of change. Sleep issues have a way of eroding your confidence. You start to believe that something in you is permanently broken, that this is just the way it is now, that your best days are behind you. But that belief, that quiet resignation, is more damaging than the lack of sleep itself. Because once we believe we are beyond healing, we stop reaching for it. But here's the truth. Your body is always listening, always responding. And it wants to return to balance. It wants to help you. Even if you've struggled for years, even if nothing has worked before, even if you're skeptical, there is still a part of you, however quiet, that knows how to rest. This isn't blind optimism, it's biology. Neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain and nervous system to form new patterns, never goes away. You may have to approach it differently, you may have to be more patient, but the capacity is still there. And when you meet your body with patience and consistency, it begins to respond, slowly, quietly, but deeply. So if you lie in bed tonight and the old thoughts creep in, the ones that say, "This won't work," or "Here we go again," I want you to do something radical. I want you to speak back to them gently. Say, "Maybe not tonight, but maybe soon." Say, "I'm learning to rest again." Say, "My body is listening." These phrases aren't tricks, they're truths, spoken in a moment when truth is most needed. And if you wake in the middle of the night, don't punish yourself with frustration. Don't look at the clock and do the mental math. Just return to the method, back to the breath, back to the wave, back to that phrase. I am safe. I am resting. I am letting go. Because in truth, falling asleep quickly isn't the ultimate goal. Feeling safe enough to rest deeply, that's the real win. And safety doesn't come from silence or darkness or perfect mattresses. It comes from inside, from trust, from repetition, from kindness toward yourself. I want to share something Joe told me years later. After practicing this method and changing his evenings, he said, "Doc, it's not that I sleep like I did when I was 30, but now, when I lay down, I don't feel dread. I feel like I'm returning to something good." That stayed with me. Because for so many men, sleep becomes a battle, a place of failure. But it can become, once again, a place of peace. Not because your life is easy, but because you're learning how to meet your body where it is instead of where it used to be. And maybe that's the real gift of aging, not loss, but wisdom. The kind that says, I don't need quick fixes, I need truth. I need rhythm. I need care. You've lived enough years to know that real change doesn't come in a bottle or a slogan. It comes in the quiet, repeated choices we make every day, like walking instead of worrying, like turning off the screen and lighting a candle, like breathing deeply when your body begs you to tense. So try this method tonight, not as a test, not as a cure, but as an act of respect for your body, for your story, and for your need to rest. Let it be imperfect. Let it be human. Let it be a beginning. And if it helps, if even one moment of peace comes, hold on to that. Return to it tomorrow. And the day after that. Let sleep become a friend again. Not one you chase, but one you welcome home. You've earned that rest. Not because you've done everything right, but because you've carried so much for so long. If you know someone else who lies awake at night, share this with them. Not because it's flashy or fast, but because it's honest. We all need that right now. And if this kind of truth speaks to you, if you want more simple, grounded guidance like this, I hope you'll stay connected. This space isn't about gimmicks, it's about healing, one quiet night at a time. This is Dr. Michael Hanks. May tonight bring you softness. May tomorrow greet you with strength. And may you remember, you are not alone in the night. You are part of something larger, something still growing, something still beautiful. Sleep well.